KD2 GAG portable. Testing the crossband repeat.
Stop packing so much stuff in a radio where there's no feature that is beyond better than any other radio out there.
This is RF Radio Network.
I know this is a tough video for me because my problem is, and hopefully you guys can understand, is that they figured out a way to pack so much nonsense in a radio to make it seem like it's a bed of value. I'm just trying to understand the thought process of the radio. I mean, Radtel will never sponsor me because I beat him up. The 730, the RT-950 is the biggest piece of shit out there. Biggest. I mean, why would you want to buy a splatter box? That thing was the noisiest. Had harmonics and spurs up the ass. It was just ridiculous on how horrible that was. And then they came out with this. And this is by far the cleanest radio that they most likely will ever make, because this was unbelievably incredible. I was blown away by how clean the transmission on this was. However, it's too feature rich. A colleague of mine said to me, he said, if a radio has crossband repeat, that means they spent more time developing the radio and making it better. And I find that difficult to believe, but he's entitled to his opinion. But I find it difficult to believe because why focus on a feature that no one's going to freaking use in an HT? Would you use a crossband repeat in an HT?
KD2 GAG portable. Testing the crossband repeat on the RT-950. From UHF to VHF at the moment, and now we're going to test VHF to UHF. Stand by. This is Kilo Delta 2 Golf Alpha Golf testing UHF to UHF crossband repeat on the Radtel RT-950. So you can clearly hear how this works. Not bad.
Mind you, it only transmits at medium power. You cannot transmit at high power on crossband repeat. So, and the feature is only available to an amateur radio operator, not a GMRS. So this is a solely 100% amateur radio feature for crossband repeat. But why in an HT? That's what I'm concerned about. Unless you're using a high gain antenna and you're in the field and you're trying to, communicate and get your team together. But why would you use this? Because now you got to put this up super high. It's battery operated. You're limited to the duty cycle. There's so many other variables that no one's really considering. So we have Vox, which is so strange. It's like, I guess that's the top one. But you have user key. And this is where you could program all of your button presses. So you have PF2 and then long press on PF2. And then you have 0 through 9. So all the key buttons, all the numeric keypad is fully 100% programmable to do any feature you wish. It's not pre-programmed like all radios. So this particular feature is actually kind of cool. So what I did was, for number 0, I have it for search. So let's go through all the options that you can actually program any of these keys to do. So obviously none, radio, Vox, search, spectrum. Like I have 1 for spectrum, 0 for search. As you saw, 0, long press. If you see it, it says long press. 0 is search. If we back up 1 and we went to 1, you'll see I have number 1 for spectrum. And then we have NOAA, scan, QT, squelch, frequency step, TX power. I'm sorry, I'm kind of moving ahead here. Channel memory, zone select. So these are probably functions that I would... Zone select is important. All right, that is if you want to change your zone. Now remember, this is only analog. So it's not like you can switch to DMR. Standby set, CTCSS, DCS option, I guess for program. I don't even know what that would even do. Frequency offset. So this is like changing stuff on the fly. Frequency DIR. That's interesting. RX modulation. You know what that is. Either AM or FM. Tone TX. Transfer. GPS switch. APRS switch. Roger tone. If you want to turn it on or off. Bluetooth turning on or off. And that's it. So those are the options for programming these buttons on the radio. So that's what user key is. Then we have Bluetooth, which is basic, just on and off. So that feature here is weird because you can just program one of the user keys to do that same feature. So having it as a option to turn it on and off is weird. That should be on the radio settings and get rid of that whole button completely. Then we have signaling, and we have S code, push to talk ID, and DTMF ST. Signaling meaning when you're transmitting. So you have certain codes you can do, push to talk ID, end of transmission, beginning of transmission, off, or both. And then DTMF-ST. Now, some repeaters, depending on what it is, may need tones to actually enable it to actually transmit. So that's what this would do. All right. About the radio. So we know what the firmware is. I'm sure there's an update. We haven't done that yet. Reset the radio. Everything. You can do it right from here. What does it say? Settings. So this is where there's a ton of stuff. Now the beep prompt, I have this turned off because with it on, it slows down the scrolling of the menu. See how fast I could go? If I had beep on, this will go so much slower because now I have to wait for the bleep to finish, playing, and then it can go to the next option. It just slows you down dramatically. Just an FYI. Voice prompts. Keypad lock, backlight, how long you want it to be on for.
Confirm.
So you could actually disable that confirm part. We can just do this and turn this off. So now you won't hear. So if I change the backlight for 2 minutes, you don't hear it. That's what the voice is, okay? However, some people like to know when if it actually saved or not. Backlight, menu, out time. So in other words, what we're doing right now, we're in the menu, and we'll set it, 60 seconds is the longest, which kind of sucks, which would be longer than that. All right, so backlight, power on display, picture, or voltage. You know what? Sometimes the voltage is more important. Not that you can't read the battery indicator that's up on the top right, but you know what? When you power it on, that could be fake. Oh, did you see the battery? It just dropped down. You see that? It's blinking. A little bit dropping and doing whatever. Doesn't really matter. Language, English or Chinese. Very bizarre, right? And that is it. Those are the options in the radio setting. Then we continue down. And that's it. Vox. Oh, yeah, here we go. We have zones. So Vox is, voice activation. Zone. VFO and channel. So this is what you horse around when you're in the VFO mode. You tell it what step, what direction, what offset, what RF modulation, AM or FM. I'm currently in AM because I'm fussing around with the AM portion of this. I was playing with this radio last night and I'm just trying to understand it, understand the purpose of why it exists. It's still, I can't, for some reason, for the life of me, I just cannot like the radio. I can't have this as my go-to radio. Why would I need it? My DM32UV meets all of my requirements, and it doesn't have all the unnecessary bells and whistles. It just focuses on things that are required, not all this extra shit in a radio that is useless. I'm sorry, but Radtel did not sponsor me. This is one of my subscribers on my Selden radio repeater that let me borrow, and I can't. Nothing is making me go, oh, I want one of these. That's the problem. That's the problem with these radios. I mean, it's super clean. It's a great output, but there's no purpose to it. There's absolutely zero purpose to this radio. Zero. There's so many other options out there. You don't need to have 3 VFOs on the screen. That is absolutely useless. What the hell look, why do you need 3? Why? You have ABC. Why would you need this? What would be the point of having this? So what? When you have repeater, when you have crossband repeat on, you have A and B, and C is your monitoring frequency. The chances of that happening in your lifetime is slim to none. I mean, come on. All right, so let's go back to the menu. So we were at RF modulation, channel memory, channel delete. So this is where you would actually do all the channel modifications, adding and subtracting that thing. So what stinks about when you have RF modulation, RX modulation, is that you can't be in not RX modulation. You can't be in a different mode, working mode. And this has APRS. I mean, why would you set up an HT to be a beacon? Talk about trying to use an HT for what it needs. Now you're going to be beating the battery up for a beacon, for APRS. Unbelievable. It's really, again, this feature is okay because many radios have APRS in it. But then you're advertising this as a ham radio if you have APRS and not AM, which is really weird. So it's like an everything in one radio mentality. It's just weird. I just don't get it. I mean, focus on a feature and stick with it. Radio set. Working band. This is where I'm at right now. So if we hit this, then we can focus in on UHF and VHF.
Welcome. Frequency mode. Menu.
So we go to radio set again. So now we're back on the workband, squelch. And you have to, this is a really tough radio. Transmission power. If you set up if you're using this radio with a hotspot, you would want to transmit on low power. That would be one of the reasons. Bandwidth, wide or narrow. let's see, scrambling, illegal on ham radio. On business bands, you're allowed to do that. Standby set, not really sure what that's for. Battery save, we know what this is. Turn that crap off. Busy lockout, like if the frequency is busy, you don't transmit over them, so it can sense that, which is nice. That's usually a DMR feature, a digital feature, I should say. A timeout timer. A tail, if you wanted a tail in your transmission, like whatever, or Roger tone, I would think. Here's the Roger tone right there. Roger tone, well, that's not Roger tone. Scan mode. When you're scanning, what are you searching for? Carrier? I'm not sure what the time. That's bizarre. They misspelled that. That's Roger tone. It's supposed to be ER, not RE. So there's a typo. So if you wanted to do a fake
Confirm.
MDC, they can do that. RP, STE, RPT, RL. So there's so many features on here. Now this is the crossband repeat. So this, when it says AB repeater mode, so then it would go between A and B. So this has got two transmitters, obviously. I mean, they can pretty much transmit on any VFO, but this just proves what this thing could do. So, oh, look at that. That's funny. That's hilarious.
Menu.
So yeah, so the repeater, let's go back to that. So you can turn it on and off here. And then if you wanted to have the speaker on so you can hear what's happening, so you can have that off. So this would be like in silent mode. So if you turned on crossband repeat, it would actually, so for argument's sake, so if we did this, we hit OK, we hit on.
Confirm.
Then we back up. So let's go to, that's 146.520. And then we go to B, we make this
44600.
So now, let's
Menu.
just see something just to make sure that I didn't turn it off. Because I'm going to show you. I'm actually going to do it. I'm going to walk away and you'll hear it. And you'll see what it does on the screen because it's pretty slick. This is the only thing that's actually kind of neat. The crossband repeat is nice, but all right, so let me back out. I want you to see the cool graphics this thing does. It's kind of neat. All right, let me grab another radio and you'll watch it. Give me a moment.
This is KD2GAG, Kilo Delta 2 Golf Alpha Golf, for a crossband repeat test. We're transmitting on 146.520. I repeat, 146.520.
So that feature is kind of cool because what it shows on the screen is kind of neat. However, absolutely useless in an HT. Did you see the graphic on the screen? So it shows you which way it's going. UHF, VHF. It's kind of neat. Watch. Now it's going the other direction. If you notice, though, the power output is half power. It's at medium, so the radio doesn't explode. It's getting warm. Notice the icon on top? Again, I'm not a huge fan of the radio, but having triple, again, three VFOs, bizarre. It really is. I don't know. It's a hard sell for me. Nothing about the radio gets me excited, and you need to have a radio that gets you excited. That's pretty much the gist of it. If you can find a purpose and a use for it, and you got to be honest with yourself. You have to be 100% honest with yourself. What really good positive about this, field programming this radio is super easy. I mean, super. I just did it in 2 seconds. Let's see if I actually can hit the repeater now. This would be great if I can. Let's see. This is WQSY
810 testing out the audio quality of the Radtel RT-950 Pro. Anyone on frequency to give me a quick radio check, please.
WRGF 325. Audio is excellent. Excellent audio. Nice and clear. Sounds good.
Wow.
Wow, that's impressive. So, I mean, obviously I'm going to export the audio, so I'm actually in the basement.
So the last time I did a review, I did it on the 7B.
The Baofeng, that's a 5-watt radio. This is advertised as a 10-watt radio, and I'm doing it right at the studio location on camera.
And you're saying it sounds
Crystal clear, 100%? It's 100% readable transmission?
It's Motorola quality audio, put it that way. Sounds really, really, really good.
Wow, that's impressive. So there's a huge pro.
Yes, absolutely. Definitely sounds good. Very good. Very impressive.
Wow. I don't think I ever did that on this radio yet. So this is the second look at the RT-950. I just got finished testing the crossband repeat of it from UHF to VHF and VHF to UHF on 146.520 and then 446 flat, and did a comparison on that.
Copy that. What's the mic gain setting on that radio? Does it have a mic gain adjustment? Because I will keep it right where it is. It sounds really good.
Actually, shockingly, I did not see it. I did a video on how we went through the entire menu structure. I did not see a mic gain on this. Then again, there is a firmware upgrade on the radio, so perhaps that version may have it.
Alright, copy that. Yeah, I would definitely definitely leave it where it is. Definitely sounds good. It's not overmodulating, it sounds really good. Nice and loud.
Alright, copy that. Thank you very much for the quick radio check. I appreciate it. This is WQSY 810 Portable Clear, doing the YouTube video second visit on the Radtel RT-950 Pro. I'm clear.
all right. So the audio quality in this radio is impeccable. You heard Paul 325. He said that was Motorola quality. I was not expecting that either. So that said, buy the radio for the features that you're going to use it with. If I bought it, it would not be crossband repeat, but it would be for the audio quality and the UHF and VHF capabilities. And it is super clean on the spectrum analyzer, which is extremely important to me. I want a radio that is 100% legal to transmit in the United States of America, and this radio can do that. All the other features and stuff that this thing can do is meaningless to me. I would only buy it for those particular purposes for me. And that's it. So if you have a feature of this radio that you like, go and buy it. It's super clean, it works as advertised, and it works. Not bad for the second time around for the revisit. So I do like the radio. I do. So guys, this is Joe Tech for RF Radio Network, connecting people through the power of radio. Take care, and we'll see you next time.
This is RF Radio Network. In the static, we found our sound, breaking through the underground. Antennas rise. RF Radio.